What is up, guys? Welcome back to the $1 Million Challenge, where I start with $1. I'm trying to get profit every single day through sports betting, gambling, investing in crypto, and investing in the stock market until I get to $8 million. Right now, we are currently sitting on day 573 of this challenge. As you can see, we have about 8 days to play through today. I try to do this every single day, but recently I've been playing a little bit slower. So we're gonna have a little bit of a longer video. But just to kind of catch you guys up, if you're new here, like I said, I do a bunch of different stuff. I'm just trying not to use my own money to grow to $1 million. I use a bunch of like free bonuses and just trying to do a bunch of stuff that's not really like work through like sports betting, investing, gambling, stuff like that. A lot of stuff to go over today. Probably gonna be a long video, like I said, so hang in there. But I track everything. If you're new here, this sheet goes the whole way back to day 1. You can watch the whole thing on my channel. Right now we're sitting on day 573, like I said. We're $8,273. So a couple updates on the balance since last episode. First thing is first, let me show the sports bets here. We had 2 bets for the day. I track volume bets on Instagram. There's a link to his page in my Discord server if you join that, which there's a link in the description or the comments to join my Discord server. But I tail off his bets. A lot of people have been asking me like where I get my bets at and stuff. I tell him, okay? I don't give myself credit for that. I never take credit. But either way, we had a losing day, sports betting, and we lost about $33.73. Other than that, though, when it comes to the balance, our investment portfolio, which I'll show at the end of the video. A lot of people have been asking me a lot of questions. I'm trying to answer a lot of stuff today, but I'll show the investments at the end of the video. But our investment portfolio did go down a little bit. Crypto went down a little bit too, which I have XRP and Bitcoin. And we had no bonuses for the day. So as you'll see, as a running occurrence over the next 8 days, we had pretty much no bonuses at all. And sports betting is a little bit crazy. I'll get into that in a second. But what I've been doing recently, typically I try to go for 1% profit every single day. And 1% of this number here would be about $83. That's what this column is here. But I've been losing a lot of money gambling. So our total profit gambling is about $81. That's what this is tracking right here. So we've been losing a lot of money. We were up to like 1,300 something at one point, back down to 81 bucks. I'm trying to prevent losing more money going in the hole from gambling. It's just been a losing game. It's what it is statistically over time. You're gonna lose money gambling with the house edge. But this column is what we would need to get for the day to reach our 1% profit goal. So since we went down a lot of money, we would need to get $151 to come back, and using a 4% stop loss, which I also got rid of that column, which would probably be about 360 something probably. We'd have to pretty much get a 50% return on our gambling balance. So what I've been doing recently is we have the website balance right here, and about 1,030 of that is in Bitcoin, and the other remaining portion is in USDC. So I'm gonna hop on the website, we'll get this started, and I'll explain what I'm gonna be doing. Okay, so I've ran the strategy before. I'm gonna get this started and I'll explain a couple things. So let's get this going. The way this works is you're gonna take your total balance divided by 4,000. So the way I'm doing this though, is we're trying to get 1% profit on this balance here. So really, we're trying to get $3.53. That's our profit we're trying to get today. So I'm kind of backing into that. So really, I'm starting off with like 3.5 cents, which I have to round up to 4 cents. We're gonna do medium risk. We're gonna select these tiles here. On win, you're gonna increase by 0.5%. On loss, you're increase by 0%, and then your stop on profit should technically be 100 times this number here, your base bet. But we're just gonna run it like this. And whenever that either reaches the profit goal, we just reset. If it loses, then we'll go to phase 2. In the meantime, I'm gonna explain what I'm doing. I know I haven't been recording a lot recently. I've been recording pretty much like once a week, which is honestly kind of nice. But trying to get 1% profit on this balance here, not the entire bankroll. Again, a few reasons. I explained this before, but I know people keep asking the same questions. Not everyone sees every single video. I've been losing a lot of money gambling recently when it comes to trying to get the 1% profit goal on a total bankroll, not just this number in the website. Trying to get 1% profit every single day. I use a 4% stop loss, and we've been hitting that 4% stop loss a lot. So I'm trying to pull back on the risk a little bit, because like I said, gambling, we are pretty much break even at this point. So more or less, this isn't the main driver of income. It's mainly sports betting, investing. I think investing we're up like almost 22% 22, 23%. The idea is just to keep winning money, put it in investments, put it in crypto, and sports bet, that's really profitable. Thanks to Volume Bets, that's who I track, tail his bets every single day. So yeah, a lot of people ask who I tail, where I get my sports bets from. I track Volume Bets on Instagram, volume.bets. And yeah, a ton of comments. I'll try to answer them quickly here, and then I'll kind of speed this up. But a lot of people want me to keep going for the 1% profit goal and the total balance, which I'm not completely changing the challenge. I just think right now this is probably the best move, just to get momentum. That's kind of the whole goal, is just to get a little bit of momentum, take the challenge a little bit slower, not rush it. I think if you rush things, it kind of hurts you in the long run, trying to force the wins. Obviously hasn't been working good recently. So I'm not like completely stopping the 1% profit goal. Just currently I'm pulling back on it, trying to get little wins on this balance here. We're just trying to kind of stay flat, stay stable, maybe get a little bit of progress. And honestly, as we can see with compounding, if this can keep growing, we keep getting like $3.50, $4, $5 on this for the time being, then we will start to make some progress again. And another big factor, which I'll probably bring up once I get back to the tracking sheet, is Volume Bets. Okay, I tell his bets all the time. And the way his bankroll works is he lets his money just sit in all his sportsbooks accounts, and he bets like 1 unit to a half a unit to a quarter of a unit, which a unit for him is 1% of his entire bankroll. The way my challenge operates is I have a lot of diversification between my bankroll. So I have money in sports books. I could actually probably check the exact percentage. I keep track of everything clearly, but like right now I have about 28% of the total bankroll in sports books. About 44% is invested in the stock market, 10% is in crypto, and about 16% is in this website we use. So, he has a lot of deployable cash to throw towards bets, and he's been placing a lot of futures bets, especially with the NFL season coming up. So he's kind of utilizing his entire bankroll in that aspect, where I only have like 29%, 28% to work with. So that's kind of hurting me right now, because I try to invest my money and not let it just sit there, and I'm trying to like utilize it in the background. So I might have to like move some money around soon if I'm trying to tail all of his bets. So it's a little bit of a factor I'm working with, but either way, let me actually turn off, try to make this go a lot faster. Turn off animations, let's go instant bet. But yeah, just tailing his bets. He's placing a lot of futures, so that's good that we're not just having money sit, but my sportsbooks account's getting really low because I'm placing a lot of futures bets. And like I said, I'll show that once we get back to the sheet, that you can see those balances, the futures balance. I track how much I have invested, I guess like placed in futures bets, is going up really quick, but our sports books are getting pretty low, so it's kind of hard to place like current bets. Yeah, people were upset that I'm not doing the 1% profit goal. Like I said, it's just a temporary thing. I'm not completely getting rid of the 1% profit goal. Just right now, I don't like gambling every single day and losing. It's kind of where I'm at. So bear with me. We'll get back on track, but I think it's better just to not take those 4% hits every single day downwards and get like, I guess 1% of 4% of the total bankroll. I'm trying to get 1% on this balance, which would be like what? I don't know. I can't do that math right now. It's a very small percentage increase, but I think it's just good to get those wins, build momentum, and kind of build that confidence back up. But with that said, man, I'm not stopping the challenge. I know I just haven't been uploading as much recently. I'm doing a lot of like sporadic uploads like once a week and stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm still placing sports bets every single day. Still tracking everything every single day, and I'm still doing it. We're just taking a little bit of a breather, taking things slow. So bear with me. Trying to be as smart as possible, okay? Obviously, the main goal of the challenge is to get to $1 million, and I'd rather get there slower than try to speed it up and not get there. So that's where I'm at right now. And ultimately, really my main goal to get there is to win money sports betting, win money gambling, and throw those winnings into an investment portfolio and kind of have that be the main thing. So basically anything I can do to invest that money is the main goal of where this challenge has kind of progressed. People mentioned doing like day trading or some other weird stuff, man. Not opposed to it, but like I'd really have to research it, like options and stuff. I've played with options in college. I've been there. I'm not a believer in day trading. I don't think it's legit. I don't think it's like a real, I don't think it's a profitable long-term thing. I think it's pretty much gambling. I could dive into that another time, but my argument is always, if someone is a profitable day trader where they win money every single day day trading, first off, they would not have a job. They would do that full time. I know people sell courses and stuff, but yeah, if you actually knew what you were doing, day trading, you made money every single day. First of all, you wouldn't tell anyone. You would just do that on your own, make money from that. You wouldn't need to sell a course. You wouldn't want to share your secrets. You wouldn't have to work because you would know where the market's going every single day, which no one does. And if you were that confident in your day trades, why would you not put all your money in that? Why would you do, $400? Why wouldn't you do $4,000 or $8,000 or $10,000? If you're so confident that you're going to win money every single day, why don't you up those numbers? I just don't believe in it. So, maybe we could do it here and there and stuff, but I just don't think it's a long-term driver for the challenge. But I'm open to other suggestions, like other like new things to try, not just like gambling, sports betting, investing. Anything that's like not technically work, where I have to like clock in, clock out on like a time-based thing, that money can be added to the challenge. So like options, day trading, that type of stuff, it could be part of the challenge. But again, I'd have to be really confident, know what I'm doing, do a lot of research to get there. And we'll see. Maybe it's down the road. But another thing was someone wanted me to show all my futures bets that I place. The thing is, like I said, I tell Volume Bets, he posts them every single day. And right now I have so many between all my different sports books. I thought about showing all of the bets I have placed in, like for futures, but I thought about it and it would take so long to go through like all. I literally probably have like maybe 50 between all the different sports books. So I just opted to not do that. I figured that would take too long to like record, explain everything. So I just tell him, man, he'll share. It's all, he doesn't delete anything. It's all there. So if you want to see the futures bets I place, a lot of it's NFL stuff right now, a lot of soccer stuff, a couple MLB stuff. But yeah, he posts all of it. And I guess if you go through his page, you can go back and see the bets that he placed that are futures bets. But yeah, I'm not going to show all that. But at the end of the video, like I said, I'll show our investment portfolio. People want to see that more often, so I'll try to show that. And I think that's pretty much it. Trying to hit all the comments. Every time someone leaves a comment, even if it's like a one-off comment, I try to answer it, explain things. I think if someone has one question, someone else probably has that same question too. But one last thing, and I'll start speeding this up and we'll try to make some profit. People have sent me strategies, many strategies. I like the ones the best where it's like a YouTube video that's like proven and it explains it very well. And if the person sending me in the Discord DM is typically where I get them, or like email, if you've tried tried that strategy. So if you send me a strategy and you've tried it and it works and the video explains it well, I'll test those out. I think the people that send like their own strategies and don't show any proof or like how it's profitable and everything, I'm not a huge fan of those. But if people, if you send me stuff and it's like legitimate and there's backing behind it and you tried it and stuff, I'll try it out. If it makes money, maybe I'll tip you out. If you're helping me win and share with others, then I think you deserve something as well. We're going to speed this up. I think it's going to bust here in a second. So I'll explain. Here we go. So I'll explain the next progression. So we start off at 4 cents. The next progression is we're going to double this up to 8 cents. We're going to double this up. So it would be 706. Okay. And then we're going to get rid of these two corners here. Switch this to high risk. And then on win, we go to 0% increase. And then on loss, we go to 1%. And same thing, once we hit the profit goal, we just reset. If we hit the stop loss, we will go back to the first progression, but just double up our bets and our stop and profit goal. So I'm gonna keep running this. We'll see if we can make our 1% profit goal on this balance up here. And I'll be back in a second. All right, so as you can see, we hit a pretty good hit. So we're up to a 29 cent bet, and we ended up getting a 400x that profited $114. So it trusts into $93.85 of profit. Basically, I also messed this up too. The medium risk is supposed to be 8 squares. I haven't ran the strategy a very long time. It's supposed to be 8 squares, not 10. And then on high risk, it's 10 squares, not 8. So I just kind of flip-flopped the tau selected, but we hit 7 of the 8 squares on medium risk on a 29-cent bet and got a 400x. Pretty bananas, dude. Pretty bananas. Feels really good to get a big hit like that. That's a nice part of that strategy too. You have a chance of getting a nice big hit. So coming back into our tracking sheet here for day 573, we made a total of about $94 gambling today. Trying to get 350, so way better than we needed. Even though we didn't get the full 1% profit, but we only went up 0.32% on the balance. So it doesn't look as good as it feels, but it feels pretty darn good. That's a huge increase. I think realistically, we started like 350. So we do some quick math over 350. That's like a 27% return on the balance we were using. So pretty nuts, man. That's sick. I'm very excited about that. We need that big time. So moving on to day 574, gonna probably shoot through all of these next handful of days here, and then on the last day we'll do another day of playthrough and do some gambling. So for day 574, we're sitting at $8,455, which I think is not quite the peak balance. This is the peak balance, so we're coming back up to like our highest point in the whole challenge. But the only big updates for the day here, we did have some sports bets, so let me show you those real quick. Really good day of sports betting, amazing day of sports betting. Thanks to volume bets, we had $84 in profit on the day. Really good day there. We had 3 bets, they all cashed out, so that's why I try to pull back from gambling and just let the sports bets ride the profits. So yeah, coming back in here, we would need to actually, even if we were trying to get the 1% off, but we already got it, because you see if I just drag these numbers down real quick, you can see on the day here we already made 1.05% with sports betting. A little bit of movement in the stock market, like nothing much really, and we had like $1 in bonuses. So we'll take it and move on to the next day. All right, so moving on to day 575, we're sitting at $8,471 on the day here. I'm gonna show our sports bets real quick. So this is back from August 12th, 2026. 1 bet for the day. It was a losing bet, lost about $10, nothing super crazy. Our stock market portfolio went up a decent amount there, about like 1% on that total balance. Crypto stayed pretty much flat. We had, like I said, this is kind of the point too. I mentioned this earlier. You'll see this is the first day of the video, right? Our futures column here, this is all of our futures bets. We're at 1344. By the end of it, we're at 1851. So we placed about like $500 in futures bets. So a lot of futures bets over this span of days. So you'll see the balances kind of dip down a good bit. We're not really losing money per se. I mean, some days we do lose money sports betting, but a lot of times we're just moving money into the futures bets, and I track everything correctly, so I'm making sure that we're moving money out of these accounts into the futures column. But technically we're not like losing sports bets and like losing money sports betting, so I'm keeping track of that in the sense of the data's tracking correctly is all I'm saying. It's not saying like we're losing money. I back it out on the other formulas and everything. So yeah, we're at $8,471, and I'm just gonna drag these numbers down here because we're not gonna play it. We're gonna run this through, like I said, until the last day here. So we'll move on to day 576. We're sitting at $8,466 in our total capital between all the accounts, and we had some more sports bets. This is back from August 13th, 2026, and we had a losing day overall. Nothing super crazy, but lost about $25 sports betting. Yeah, there's just proof that I place these bets every single day. like I said, tell volume bets on Instagram. Link to his page in my Discord server. But yeah, we pretty much stayed flat overall in the day. Went down like $5 since the previous day, so pretty chill day there. And we'll just keep moving these numbers down. I know this is pretty boring, but the whole point of this challenge is to be legitimate and just track everything and show that I'm trying to legitimately grow $1 million, I guess $1 into $2 million. So we'll move on to the next day here. Let me show the sports bets. Or sorry, we actually don't have any sports bets for the day here. Let me give a little bit of a workaround here. For day 577, we're sitting at $8,495. Like I said, we had no sports bets for the day. Just placed some futures. And not much movement besides that, I believe. Looks like it went up like $30, but I think that might just be a little bit of an error there. Either way, we're gonna move on to the next day, and this is day 578, back from August 15th, 2026. And here's our sports bets for the day here. We ended up losing, it says $38. I don't think that's tracking correctly, but I was also on vacation at this point, so there's been a lot of like, the data does add up. There's days where I can see on my right here, technically on this day we did lose about $12, right? You can just tell by the sports bets there. My data sheet's saying we lost $38, but the previous day that we didn't have any sports bets, it was saying I gained 26. Like I said, I think it's a little bit of a weird error just because I'm moving money around between all these different accounts, but it does equal out to be correct. So I know my data is not perfect, but it does. I promise you it works out, and if I sum up all the data, it'll be on point. It just depends, because some days I had to place the futures in different states and stuff because I was driving around. It works out, I promise. But yeah, losing day a little bit there. We did go up. Sorry. Actually, I don't even know if I tried these numbers down. We were working on the 15th there. I lost my complete train of thought. I don't know where we're at. I don't even know if I just did that day. Yeah, we're on day 578, $8,449. Those are the sports bets for August 15th, back when this day was. And like I said, we lost about $38 according to the sheet, but really only lost like $8, I think, based on the actual sports bets. So nothing crazy. Keep pushing though. You can see the balance is starting to grow. That's why I'm not trying to gamble, because we're making money through other methods with everything else going on. So for day 579, we're sitting at $8,475. We have our bets for the day here. Let me switch this over real quick. I don't know if I mentioned, but this is back from August 16th, 2026. And again, you can see it's a crazy good winning day, but my sheet's saying we only made $24. So like I said, I placed a lot of these bets like the night before, different states and stuff, so I may have just tracked things a little bit wrong, but at the end of the day, it should equalize and be all good. Really good day of sports betting though. My sheet's saying only made $24, but we obviously made a lot more than that. About what, $7, about $5, $12 total, and then about $22. So what was that? 12 plus 22, $36 in profit. Good day. I'll take that. And I know this is really sloppy. I apologize. But yeah, we went up a decent amount there, and this is over the weekend, so not much movement in the markets at all. And you see the sports betting, or sorry, the futures column in sports bets is continuously going up. We placed a ton the previous day. I should have touched base on that too. You can see we went from like 1,400 to 1,700, and then on this day here we went up about like another like $60. So yeah, placed a lot of futures bets. Again, I'm not going to show all them because volume bets shows all of them as well. So leave it at that. Move on to day 580, and we'll drag these numbers down real quick. And we're sitting at a total balance of $8,478. So we went up $3 since the previous day. Nothing super crazy again. It's the weekend. Not much movement. I think this is actually back from Monday, August 17th. So yeah, we went down in the stock market. Crypto stayed flat, and again, no bonuses this whole video pretty much. Bonuses have been really dry. I'm not sure what's up with that. but none of my sports books or my casino apps are giving too many bonuses. And my website bonuses, I think I may have got like a weekly or something in here, but unfortunately, haven't been gambling. Well, I guess it is fortunately. Fortunately, I have not been gambling as much, so unfortunately, the bonuses have been a lot smaller, which is fine. That was the only thing too that was kind of helping save the gambling aspect, was getting those bonuses on the website from like the weeklies and monthlies and stuff like that. So for day 581, let me show the sports bets real quick, and we'll do a day of playthrough here of gambling. We had one sports bet for the day. We profited $48 here. It's a home run bet, super crazy. Made some good money there, plus 480 odds. That's a crazy pull from volume bets. That's why I tell that dude, he always crushes it. So we're sitting at a total of $8,477. Again, we made $48 from sports betting, but unfortunately the stock market went down about the same, and we stayed pretty much flat. Crypto went up a little bit there. We had no sports bets, and like I mentioned earlier too, you know, the futures column is 1851. It's pretty high. The other balances, the sports books balances, are pretty low. So bet online completely like wiped out. Everything's in futures bets, I think up until like 319 or 254 maybe. Most of those, I think that's where we started. I can't remember that far back if we lost any money on the website there on bet online, but I think we have about, I guess I could just check right here. I have them all broken out separately. Yeah, we have $359 in bet online in futures. So that whole balance pretty much is not playable. It's all in futures bets. DraftKings, like I said, it's down to $9, but we have $266 in futures bets there. FanDuel is down to $162. I moved some money over from Fanatics to DraftKings to place a futures bet for the day here. But FanDuel is at $920 in futures bets, and Fanatics is at $125 in futures bets, and Bookmaker is at $180 in futures bets. So yeah, most of the money in these websites are pretty much in futures. So I try to excuse me, I try to like move this money around as much as I can, keep placing sports bets daily. Worst case scenario, I'd probably sell off some of our Bitcoin that's on the website. I know I'm explaining a ton of stuff, but I'm trying to make everything make sense. The website balance has about $1,030 in Bitcoin. I've not updated that amount based on like ups and downs in the market. I just keep it flat because I'm eventually going to move it back into Coinbase. But for now, it makes sense if I keep it flat, because if I change the value every single day, this column in the website that it's currently held in will mess with the gambling wins and losses. So I'm just making sure everything's tracked correctly, but eventually I'm gonna move that back over to Coinbase. The only reason I'm not doing that yet is because if we bust our USDC bounds, we're gonna use the Bitcoin portion to try to gamble. I should mention this too. This 276 right here, right over here, this is our weekly increase over the past 7 days. So we went up the past week about 0.27% right before this video started, and then, you know, in the middle of this playthrough of days here, we went up about 2.76% on the entire balance within really like 5 days on this video. So yeah, it's a really good return, and we like that. We've been losing a lot recently. I guess these are all kind of profitable, barely, but we had this like, you know, 10% dip. A lot of them are pretty flat. We did 2% dip, 1% dip, 1%, you know, losing a lot recently. So let's get some gameplay though. We're gonna hop back in the website and try to do one more day playthrough. We're at $8,477. We're trying to get like $4 in profit, 1% of the website balance, and see if we can make a little bit of money. All right, coming back to the website, I'm gonna try a strategy that one of the viewers suggested. He said that he's been making a lot of money with this, so I'm gonna give him I'm gonna give him a try. This is by 1K David 2000. He was in a lot of the challenges recently, the community challenges. We're gonna reset the live stats here. We're going for 1% profit goal. Basically, the way he said this works, I think I got this right. I don't know, but you use a 0.22% of your total bankroll as a base bet. So for me, that would be about 98 cents. I'm gonna start off with 2 cents just to kind of give us a little bit of a feel first. But the way this kind of works is he says, you know, Keno, you select these 10 tiles, medium risk, and really you're trying to increase it. He said basically you're trying to increase it. Whenever you go on win streaks, you can double up, and if you're on like a pretty bad losing streak, you can also double up. I think he said just once though, not a bunch of times. So we'll see. We'll give this a little bit of a shot. We're on a pretty good winning streak. I'm gonna double this up. Doesn't really hit. I think it's just kind of like a vibes thing. It's not like a super strict strategy. Let's bring this back down to 2 cents. If I can work this up to like maybe 50 cents or $1, I might increase the bet size. Yeah, he said whenever you go on like a pretty bad losing streak or a pretty good winning streak, I guess if you're making a bunch of money or losing a bunch of money, feel free to double it up for like 1 bet. So we'll see. Pretty good profit so far though. Take it. We're on a pretty good winning streak. I'm going to increase this for a couple bets here. I think it's kind of like a martingale type strategy. There's a 7x. Alright. We just made 59 cents. Try to get $4.48. I'm going to go up to like 8 cents here and see if we can increase the bet size and kind of play around with this a little bit. Seems to be working pretty good. Again, I think it's more or less like vibes. I'm gonna double this up here. Try to get a couple wins. But he said not to like double up too much, because you can start to lose a lot of money. So there's a really good hit. Let's bring this back down to 8 cents. Okay. I'm gonna double this up to 16. Brings us back into profit. Yeah, not bad so far. I feel like, yeah, definitely the longer you play this, the riskier and more devastating it could get. But we'll try to rock with it for a little bit. I'm gonna double this up to 16 cents for a few bets here. Getting a bunch of losses. Okay. Might double this up again. We'll see if we start to dip in the negatives. Okay, not in the negatives. Let's go up to 32 cents. I don't think I'm playing this correctly, because he said don't double up too much. I think he said double up like twice max. Kind of just looking for like a pretty big hit at this point. There's a 4x, it's pretty good. There's another 4x. There's a 4x. Yeah, I can see why you don't want to double this up too much. Starts to get pretty scary. Okay. See if we can work this back up. Alright. Starting to get a little bit scary. I mean, not really. We have a huge balance, but I'm trying not to dip below like 40 bucks. If I keep doubling up, it's gonna get pretty close to doing that. Let's do like 5 more bets. Okay. I was expecting 5 losses. Kind of working out of the hole here. Alright, there we go. Nice. Let's go back down to 8 cents. And I'm going to try to run this the whole way through. I know it's kind of slow and boring, but There's a 7x. It's pretty good. Let's go down to 4 cents for a little bit. Kind of protect our winnings there. Okay. So 4x. Good wins there. I might double it up again. We're staying pretty flat. I'm just waiting for like a big dip or a big increase to be able to increase the bet, kind of like he said. But yeah, again, I think it's just kind of vibes. Kind of just vibes, man. I'm gonna double up to 8 cents here. Okay. Get a bunch of losses as soon as we double up. On a very small bet size, though. A very small bet size. Okay. Do 3 more. Okay, there's a good hit. Kind of waiting for like a 3 loss streak before doubling up. Okay, I'm gonna double to 16 for 1 bet. Let's go back down to 8. Try to work this up like $2. Profit total. All right, there we go. Go back down to 4 cents for a little bit. And our next goal will be to like 250 maybe in profit. I'm gonna double this up to 8 cents. That's 5 losses. I'm up to 16 cents. Oh, there's like 5 more losses. I'm gonna go up to 32 for a couple. Okay. Just lost all that real quick, man. Okay. Go up to 64. I may have flown too close to the sun here. It's starting to get pretty scary. Let's go up to $1.28. One more. Should get one more win there. 2x. There's a 4x. Yeah, it just started to tank now. There's a 7x. Okay, that's huge. That's huge. Go back down to 8 cents. Alright, we're getting pretty close. We need 448. See if we can get there. Nice. Nice. There's a 4x. I'm gonna go with the 16 cents. We're so close. We drop down to 4 cents here. So we just bring this home. 2x, 2x, 7x, 448 on the dot. I'm gonna use a little bit more here just to get over the line. Just gotta keep doubling this up. Hopefully we hit soon. Maybe not. I mean, come on, dude. Give me a little bit. We'll go up to 16 cents. We were like 450. I should have just took it. Let's try to get a little bit extra. Try to get a little bit extra. Got a little bit greedy. Go up to 32 cents. Okay. Bring us back down to 8 cents. I'm go up to 16. $0.32. Back down to 8. Okay. We're so close, man. Go up to 16. Alright, 452. We'll call it there. We got a 1% profit goal on our total balance on the website. enter that sheet and we'll wrap up. All right, just to clarify, I don't think I played the strategy as he intended. He said to only double up like once or twice. I doubled up a lot, so yeah, I don't know. Don't give him too much crap for that, because I think that's more on my bad. Maybe if he wants to explain it more in the comments, he can leave a comment. Maybe I'll pin it or something if he's watching this. But either way, for day 581, we went up $4.52 gambling, and we're ending the video off at $8,481. And just to do a little bit of a recap here, and I will show my investments at the very end of the video here if you are staying for that. But on the video, we went up a total of $209. And again, this is mainly due to trying not to gamble as much. Obviously, a big portion of that was from gambling, but you know, just to give you some stats, on gambling went up about $99 today. So we would have went up about $100 if I didn't even gamble at all. But if we would have lost, we would have lost about $350 on the website. So it's kind of the idea with pulling back on gambling. Sports betting overall in the video went up about $76 in the course of 9 days. So nothing super crazy, about 1%, a little bit less than 1%, but it's kind of the goal, man. Let it ride. The investments went up a good bit, I believe. I guess they stayed flat. But yeah, we're just trying not to tank the balance downwards. And a couple more stats, just to show you guys our graph here. So where we're sitting at right now, currently, the current pace of the challenge. Obviously, we've been pretty flat for a while, but honestly, we're kind of working back up. This is our peak balance right here, and you know, we're a little bit below that, but you can see we're on the uptrend, pulling back from gambling. It's kind of working. You know, this is my proof. I'm not just making stuff up. That's the whole intent, man. Trying to just slowly increase the balance, kind of get back on track here. We'll take it slow, and it's working. You know, we had a pretty big dip here, recovered that, and we're just slowly working back up. But yeah, that's where my mindset's at. And then here's our stats. So the crypto, as I always say, is off because we have about $1,000 of Bitcoin in the website balance, which the way this sheet tracks it, it's tracking the Coinbase portfolio. So this is wrong. But total sports betting profits since April 1st, 2026, we're up about $1,900 almost. So pretty good for about 4 months. Definitely take that. This is our basis. This is our portfolio in crypto. We have about 2,500 in there. Obviously, it's been going down recently. We're trying to add more money if we can keep making profit from sports betting and gambling and stuff. But yeah, we're definitely down money. I'd probably say we're probably down, I don't know, maybe like 20% in crypto. Just taking a rough eyeball guess. Our investment basis is about $3,000. We're up to about 22% in profit there. And our total bonuses throughout the entire challenge is about $4,660. Yeah, I just track my XRP buys, my Bitcoin buys, and then this is our returns in sports betting, all the bonuses we received. Like, this is on the bankroll. So for the month of April, we made about 4% of the total bankroll from sports betting. About 10% was from just getting bonuses through different apps and stuff. We made about 10% profit gambling in April, and then that's kind of so on. So you can see, you know, gambling, we've actually been losing a lot of money, and I think this is important to track too, on explaining why I'm doing things, not just like making stuff up like, oh, we've been losing a lot of money gambling. Here's the data. We've been, you know, we lost 10% in June, we lost about 3% in July, so I'm pulling back. But that's pretty much it for all the stats and the summary. And then finally, here is our investment portfolio in M1 Finance. It's the app I use, the brokerage I use. You know, here's our total balance. I track this every single day. We're up about, this is saying 27%. My sheet's saying about 22%. So it might be even better than I even thought we were doing. But here's the graph here. And then our holdings, like I said, I'll show you guys those. Again, you know, this is not investment advice. It's not a recommendation or anything. It's just what I chose. It's very aggressive. I would never use this like for my own money. It's purely for the challenge to be like ultra aggressive and try to grow the balance. So you can see all of our returns here. are actual and target. So our actual numbers are the top number, the bottom number is where I'm trying to target each of these ETFs. Okay, so they're all funds that hold a bunch of stocks. I don't stock pick. I work in the industry, in the investment industry, financial planning and stuff. But this is stuff that like I would never actually like really use in the real world. This is purely for the challenge. So clarifying that. But yeah, there it is if you are curious. So as always, hope you guys did enjoy. I know it was a long video, a lot of talking, but one last final piece before I wrap up officially. It's coming to the end of summer too, so I've been outside a lot. I know I've been pulling back from gambling, haven't been recording as much, but I'm trying to just enjoy being outside because once the winter comes, I'll probably be inside a lot and hopefully back to making a lot of content. So bear with me. I appreciate you guys if you're still here. So yeah, thanks for watching. Leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. Join the Discord server if you're already in there. Until next time, take care of yourself. Don't gamble. It's a losing game long run. And I will see you guys in the next video. All right. Peace.